Hey everyone, it's Red Baron, and today we are going to be going over my current team in Monster Never Cry, and then what my endgame team is going to hopefully look like here in the next few months. So let's dive right into it. Alright, so just to show you what we're rolling with right now, we have Zeno as our fighter, Sarco Girl as our tank, Lilith as a DPS, Undy as DPS, and Octase as our support. Let's dive into each of these characters and see why I'm choosing them and then what my end team is going to look like. So first and foremost, we'll start with our highest DPS, which is going to be Shiny Lilith. Shiny Lilith just does a large amount of AoE damage, so she's going to be our main DPS on our team. We have her spec'd out with piercing, so she can ignore defense and deal more damage on our opponents. This isn't the best magic device that we can use, but it's the one I unlocked first. So this is going to be increasing damage as well when she's defeated an opponent. This does not pair well with Lilith because when she defeats an opponent, she's defeating usually three opponents at the exact same time, and it ends the entire round. So she's really not getting damage boost with this magic device. I'm using Gallantry, which is going to help with her decrease her HP, but she's going to be doing more damage, and she's in our back line, so she usually is not one of the first to die anyway. And then we have Chase, which also increases damage upon defeating opponents, and then Snipe, which is going to inflict wound for 3 seconds, which is going to increase our damage as well. Our second DPS is Undy. So this is an easier character to level. If you're free to play, this should be your main DPS character. She does a lot of AoE damage, and it's easy to star her up. Right now I have her at 11. So she is, as far as battle score goes, my highest, but she does not do as much damage as Lilith. So when we're building her, it's going to be somewhat similar. We're going to be using Intimidation. Intimidation is going to increase our skill damage, and we can stun targets as long as we do a significant amount of damage to their HP. And then Piercing as well to do more damage, negating some of the defenses of the opponents. For our runes, we're going with Supremacy, and this is just going to be a decrease to some of our opponents' speed. This isn't best, but is what I have right now. And then we have Wrath. Wrath is going to help increase our energy back for our ultimates if we are able to proc it with the 50% chance. And then Guardian, which isn't really going to be beneficial on Undyne. It's just the best one that I have right now. Zenobia is going to be one of our frontliners. She is a fighter, so with her fighter, she does quite a few skills that are going to interrupt opponents, deal damage, as well as give her some health back and cause some stuns. So she's a very, very strong frontliner, one of the best in the games. So I would definitely recommend trying to level up Zenobia if you can. We do have an artifact on Zenobia. It's a shield, so that way she can deal more damage and have a little bit of survivability. Once I unlock more magic devices, this is going to be switched over to my tank. However, at the moment, I'm just going to leave it on Zenobia. We are using Wrath just to build up some more of those ultimates once we are able to restore energy and continue proccing a lot of damage from Zenobia. We have max HP, which is going to be pretty good for Zenobia as a frontliner. She's going to have a nice bonus at the beginning of an HP boost. And then Snipe, which isn't necessarily as beneficial on Zenobia. And then we have Fortitude. Fortitude is going to also help with the survivability of Zenobia by increasing the defense. So she's going to be on the front line, dealing damage, healing, and tanking a little bit for us. Next we have our support character, who is Shiny Octase. So she's going to provide heals, she's going to provide shield bubbles. So she's a very, very, very good unit. She also has a little bit of CC with this turbidity, which causes a blind on an enemy that is furthest away, which is usually going to be a DPS character. So she's overall S tier, great support character. Only other one that provides more heals is going to be Cuckoo Khan, which I just do not have a lot of copies of, so I'm not really focusing on this one as much, as I have way more copies of Octasia, and I'm almost ready to 10-star Octasia once I get another 6-star material here. So she's really, really strong. As far as building her goes, we're going to want to do quickness or spirit calling glyph. Quickness is going to allow her to heal faster. She's going to be procting those ultimates and those skills a little bit quicker. And then spirit calling is going to restore energy so she can cast more of those shields and those heals. We're going to do vigor, so it's going to just make her a little bit tankier so she doesn't get popped right off the bat and we lose one of our support characters. And then we have tranquility. This is going to prevent any CC for the first 3 seconds, which is nice. That's going to protect her and allow her to build up the energy required to start using shields and healing. And then fortitude is going to just increase her defense so she doesn't take as much damage. Then our tank is Sarcophagus Girl, or Sarco Girl as I call her. She is easier to get material-wise, so that's one of the reasons we're focusing on her. She's an A-tier tank, so she's pretty strong. She's just not the strongest if you look at the Abyss or the Dragon characters. So still overall a very good pick if you're going to be doing a tank build like I am. She is getting the fortitude just to increase her tankiness and take less damage. We have sacrifice, so when she does die, and she will die because she's our tank and she's going to be taking the brunt of our damage, she's going to increase the allies attack by 7% for 10 seconds. And then we have snipe. Not really the best thing we could use. We're still leveling up a lot of our runes, so this could definitely be improved. I had accidentally used some of her gear previously to forge a little bit stronger gear for my Lilith because I hadn't realized I had removed it. So she's building up her gear a little bit. She should be around 700,000 in strength right now, but she's just lacking a little bit on the gear side. She has some great skills. It's going to be doing a little bit of damage. She has a little bit of a shield as well. A little bit cooldown reduction, which will allow her to use her hammer strike. And then she does have a little bit of immunity for the first 8 seconds of the battle, making her stronger as a tank. This is one of the units that I am wanting to replace. So the best tank in the game is Avanzo. Avanzo is just a very, very strong tank. Has a lot of really good qualities. However, he's draconic, so it's harder to get copies for him. I do have a skin for him as well. For some reason that's not equipped, but I do have the skin for Avanzo. Very good tank. I just don't have the copies. He's not going to be as strong as Sarco Girl for quite a while. In the Endgame, I would like to switch over to Avanzo as my tank. I believe for my final lineup, once I've been playing for a lot longer and have more copies and resources to choose from, I'm going to keep Lilith as my primary DPS. Zeno is going to remain one of my frontliners. Octasia is going to be the support. I'm going to replace Sarcophagus Girl with Avanzo as my tank in the front line. And then I will replace Undyne with my shiny Vespa. Vespa is a fantastic unit for multiple reasons. First, She has this lethal seduction skill that is not only a CC, but also causes the charmed enemies to attack allies for up to 6 seconds once unlocked to 10 star. So not only is she preventing them from attacking your team, but she is then causing them to attack their own team. So if you can get this and set up on a Lilith on the opposing team, that Lilith is going to be doing AoE damage to its allies for up to 6 seconds, which is pretty crazy. She does have a little bit of damage dealing as well, and has the ability to reduce energy, so she's going to be decreasing the amount of ultimates and skills that are popping off by the opponent's teams. She is able to steal HP and bring it back to Vespa, so she's going to live a little bit longer, causing more disruption. And right off the bat, as soon as the battle starts, she automatically increases ally attack by 10% and haste by 10. So that's going to allow all of our units to deal more damage and get those skills popping off a little bit faster. Once I have copies of her. I just need to get the 6-star food to continue leveling her up. I don't really like to use these puppets for food. I like to get 4 and then upgrade to 6-star because it is very difficult to get the food required for a lot of these characters that are Abyss and Draconic. So it's just a waiting game until we can level her up and get her in. She's going to pair very nicely with Lilith and just allow a lot of damage to come out and attack those enemies. So we would be running one primary DPS, Zeno, a little bit of a tank DPS. We have a support, and then we're going to have our tank, who's going to protect a lot of our DPS and our support characters from taking any damage, and then a lot of CC and a lot of disruption with Vespa as our 5th character in the back. So I think in the end that would be a pretty good lineup for me. A lot of PvP focused skills, which is going to be nice once we dive into some more Void Clash, Throne of Zenith, and have a little bit more fun with all of the PvP aspects of the game. This is a pretty strong team that's going to be good for both PvP and for PvE. You'll be dealing a lot of damage with Undyne and with Lilith, and then for PvP you have good sustain with Octase. That's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys are enjoying the new content. This is a new game that is pretty fun, and I've had a lot of good times recently practicing with different monsters, getting familiar with a lot of the skills, and I look forward to the next video. Make sure you give the video a like and then subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you.